Hello. This is the first thing I'm recording, so sorry if it's more weird than everything else. Probably isn't. It is 1 a.m. on June. Nope, it's still May. It's May 26th, and I'm recording this. And I just finished my map part for Brat, for Mata. Been a long time since I did character animation for a while. I've been busy doing these things. Go pop, pop, pop. I don't know, stuff that I did recently. Haven't been doing character animation in a while. So I don't know. I don't know what drove me to do this map part, but anyways, this short section, I'll probably talk about that in the video, but this short section is me kind of showing off how I organized everything, which is badly. I organized everything badly, but that doesn't matter because I still did it, which I'm proud of. This is a clip studio. This is the first shot. There's 3 shots. I gotta get, oh no, shot 3 is right here. Okay, cool. So I'll probably talk about what this thing is later when I'm actually animating it in the behind the scenes, whatever the fuck, but let me just see. Sorry, I swear. This is Clip Studio Paint Animation, which is for my first shot. It's practically, no it is. Besides just the camera movement in the first shot, everything else is in, or everything in this shot is made in Clip Studio Paint. In the other 2, it's drawn in Clip Studio Paint. In the second shot, it's live 2D, like animated. And in the third shot, I just edited it in Premiere Pro. But for the first shot, it's just Clip Studio. So this is what we're looking at. I did a little bit of the drawing here in the first shot, but we're just gonna be looking at at least this one before I go into this first shot and second shot, excuse me. Jesus, I haven't been streaming, I'm out of practice. Okay, so first shot, kind of just the usual stuff. I'll like be showing the actual process of this entire shot in the video, but I wanted to show the actual thing. We got the folders. These are like animation folders. This is just the first shot. That's the second shot. And Jesus Christ, what even is this? Oh, this is oh yeah, these are the shots that kind of show the concept drawings of like what the color should be, the color things. I don't know, they call it something, I don't know what it is. But we have a background. Where's my characters? My characters are in my background. Alright, so we have the water here. Just look at this. It's a whole lot of a nightmare going on here. Because I've been working in live 2D, I have gotten better at labeling all of my folders. Sort of. But because this shot doesn't go in the live 2D, I kind of was just lazy with it. A lot of this is just like doing the glow and the multiply on top of the character files. And the character files is where the animation shines because, for example, let's find me. Where am I? I'm in the front, so here you even have a separate section just for the shadow. Whoa. Here's me. So it makes more sense when you're looking over here, which I'm kind of in the way, but you're just gonna have to deal. So you have all of the, so you have Ken's, and then this is my shadow. I mean, so those are my shadow and my glow, because I didn't want to make one for everything because sometimes people would be overexposed to certain things, so I made everyone have their own shadow and highlight. Not how it works in real life, doesn't matter. So we have the head, which is just the eyes and the ear. Like the upper body also consists of the head, but I made sure to separate everything so everything's a bit more, less kind of disastrous in organization, just like things that sort of are, you know, just the layers. So you got the eyes. The thing was, with animation in Clip Studio Paint, layers are very important, and I used to work in Flash. Glad I don't anymore. I feel like it's only helped me. But making full like layers in Flash feels like so easy compared to doing it in Clip Studio, because you have to make a folder for everything and set every keyframe or frame or whatever, which is fine. You just have to get used to it. But like, you have the eye lines, you have the iris, you have the pupils, you have the eye color for everything. And then you have things that are like clipped into each other, and then some things have gradients. You have to apply the gradients, but you have to draw it first. It's a bunch of bullshit that I chose to do. You have the ear line, and then you have the ear color, which is the inner ear. And then you have just the complete ear color, also clipped on the ear. So that's all of these. Here, if I show you over here, so it's like, this is the first shot. Go all the way down. Let's find the Ken section. Here it is, Ken shadow. Open up the Ken's folder. These are all of the frames. This is definitely the most animation heavy shot, obviously. And like, you have to set every single one of these frames. Every single one is a new drawing, obviously. I was nice to myself and made it 6 frames per second. Because, I don't know, it's just easier to work with. The mind plays plenty of tricks. Oh my god, for a second I thought it was streaming. That would have been so embarrassing. Anyways, but yeah, every single one of these is a drawing. They all had to be recolored after I did the original color blocks, because you can't just have, like, Ryx's jacket here would have just been pure black, and that would have been really weird, so I had to recolor everything. You have the irises there. I already looked at that. So look at all these different things I have to put. If they're in the same folder, like the color here with the ears, Jesus, there's ears color. You have to put all these. You could probably get away with like just making it the first time and copy pasting it, but I would always like make the ears color first, so I would have to erase every single frame, like, I don't know, as a template. So I didn't do that, so that kind of wasted a lot of time, but it doesn't matter anymore. If it sounds like I'm talking nonsense, I probably am. Anyways, but yeah, look at all these things. Upper body. This is, what is appearing here? Oh, it's the other ear, because before the other ear is not shown, and then it appears, so that's why that starts there. You got the hair. The hair was a little bit of a nightmare because the hair is connected to the head, and I didn't make a hair have its own, its own color. I kind of colored all of the head and the hair because they have the same frame rate, so I just clipped the, made the rainbow kind of clipped on to the hair, so it was just kind of a pain, which I did myself. That was my fault, but that's okay. The shirt, I do the legs were a pain. The legs were a pain. Look at all these frames. I mean, it was a pain only to try and make it look, because this is easy because it doesn't loop. This one has to loop, and you also have to make sure it looks consistent from when I'm looking forward to when I'm looking back here. It's a lot of repeated frames, but it's really important to get right. Pretty happy with how it came out. Yeah, the hips and the back. Yeah, and the back leg and all that stuff. But yeah, Ryx's was pretty difficult. Let's see if I can close me here and look at Ryx's real quick. Actually, I mean, it's like the same thing. Difficult, the tail was probably the most difficult with Ryx, just to get it right. Man, the frame rate really sucks right now because it doesn't like how much layers this has, because I didn't optimize it for shit. You have the little idle motions. They probably only have, I mean, they have a fuck ton of different layers just for their coloring, but they probably only have about 2 or 3 unique. I mean, Sprite has more because of the ear wiggle, and then Korvac also has an ear wiggle. Cobalt is probably the lightest with just some eye movement. Maybe about 2-3 frames. I mean, no unique drawings. Just them. Jesus, I don't know why I'm so burpy. But they just have some looping animations since they're more in the background and not the main focus. So that's that. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out. It's been a hot second. Anyways, shot 2. Shot 2 is actually also in here. I probably should have just made it a different shot so it wouldn't overload the file, but I did anyways. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I basically built this as just an image because I was going to import all of it into Live 2D. So there's like multiple layers of these explosion parts. Everything is like properly labeled, so when I put it into Live 2D, it will actually make sense. So we have like the scarves, the 2 scarf parts are separated, the arm is separated, I'm separated from this foreground of the car here. Yeah, kind of just supposed to be an eye candy scene, and if we go to Live 2D, this is how I worked on this. I imported it as a Photoshop file, everything was separated. And what I could have done was just have there be one little keyframe thing where everything moves at once at whatever pace I wanted to, but because I was an indecisive little bitch, I just made everything independent so I can fuck with it when I get into the animation part. See, this is the lighter kind of stuff, some of the dots moving. There's no reason why I made all of these so specific because it would have been easy to see what it looks like. I think the closest I have for it is this. Like you can see how we're moving over here. And I could have just made everything on one keyframe, but because I was indecisive and wanted to see how it looked like in the animation, I just did that anyways. Oh well. I mean, the tails on rotate things, but this is probably one of my favorite. I mean, all of the shots are my favorite shots. I worked really hard on all of them. Obviously, the first one was took the longest time. The other 2 were meant to be easier. But yeah, talking so fast. The hand rotates. I like working and tweening in Live 2D a lot more than Flash, that's for sure. I don't know if it was just I never bothered with puppeting in Flash, but in Live 2D at least it feels better from my experience. Here's it in the animation part. This is just like the rigging part. This is the animation part. Mostly important is down here. You go like this. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Fun fact, the actual shot is slow. Like it's actually not that fast, but because in the map part it's happened so quickly, I just sped it up and it actually looked a lot better. And here are the Live 2D parameters you just put on the timeline. The explosion has the most ones, but they're mostly just, it's slow-mo, so I'm not really too particular, but you could see here's the values and how I kind of get all fuggy with them. I spent like a while just fucking with the different values and seeing what looked best. Something to make it look layered but not moving too quickly, or it just needed to make sense, and I think I accomplished that. Anyways, that's that. Shot 3 probably took the second most amount of time. Shot 2 was... Actually, I don't know if that's true. Maybe, I think shot 2 and 3 were maybe around the same amount of time, because like, while I didn't have to animate quotation marks anything for this, the explosion was difficult to get right, like the lighting, I had to do a background, I had to do this entire scene, but you know, whatever. And this one was more difficult because of the animation. Originally, it was just going to be a live 2D shot with the tweening, but I was like, I don't want to do that. And I just decided to make it animated because I was like struck by inspiration or whatever the fuck. So I just made it in animation, and then the effects would be live 2D, which I didn't end up doing because I just did it in Photoshop. It didn't really matter. It was just some tweening. Why is this still open? Close this. I don't need this open. It's probably lagging me. But yeah, here's this shot. It was, I think the most complicated thing was obviously the hair and the eyes. They're like the most animated thing. But I think the only thing to really note that's fun about this is like, this is just like technical. With the hair, how I got it to get this sort of wind blowing look is, I don't know if I still have the thing in here that kind of shows it, but every single, like the reference or whatever that I used, is that for every hair piece, I drew a little circle and it travels around that circle. It's not, obviously it's not this circle, it was when I was sketching it, but yeah, so that's how I made it have a windswept look, is that I all had them like sort of travel around a circle at a point, so they all had this consistent windswept look. And I saw people talk about doing that stuff before, and I was like, might as well try it. And it turned out surprisingly really good. I thought it would look kind of strange, but I think especially with the limited amount of frames, I think it pulls it off just fine. God, I'm so out of breath. I feel like I haven't talked this long in forever to no one. Even in my streams, I haven't been talking a lot because I've just been watching movies and animating. But yeah, so that's the behind the scenes for that. It's a lot of using Clip Studio Paint and using Live 2D, and I think it was pretty good. I think I did pretty great. makes me pretty satisfied and happy with my part. I finished it. The map came out around like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was like, I need it. And I don't have anything going on. I'm on a break with my commission right now, so I was like, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna finish it, because if you have the want, you just gotta do it, and then you can accomplish anything. This was just great. This was just fun to work on. I'm glad to finally stretch my animation skills for like character animation, and I showed off character animation. I showed off Live 2D using that. I did backgrounds and effects, and just a little happy with it. Anyways, that's the end of this section. I'm gonna go record the rest of it now, which is about probably what things mean in the video or something. All right, thank you. All right, I'm back, and I'm gonna be looking at the footage of whatever what is it, some sort of animation thing I did. I've been working on it for about 2-3 weeks, I think. Time doesn't really matter anymore to me. Anyways, let's see. It starts with shot 1. It works with it's okay. So I started with, I didn't show it, but it was like the rough, and then the rough of the shots, which was just the animatic or whatever. It's just like 3 pictures. And then I color them all in for like a color test or whatever. And then I actually have a time lapse of me animating the first shot and drawing the second shot. Not the third, because that was on a different file, but it's about the same as the second one. No, it's the first one. I really should have recorded it, because it was like me fucking up on the hair and then redoing it. Doesn't matter. Here I go. Alright, first one. Alright, so this is me coloring the first shot. For people who don't know, this is based off of the Bus to Nowhere map on VRChat. I did it with a lot of different friends, but the people included in this are Ryx, Korvac, Sprite, and Cobalt. From left to right, it's Cobalt, me, Ryx, Korvac, Sprite. We were also joined by other friends like Weber and Bread and Mel and various others. But I wanted to include the people who were like there at the end. I have a picture of us. I think it's not called the chaos ending. It's like the unknown ending. It's when you reach 10,000 miles or something. It took like 3 days to do it. Anyways, this is me. We were in the middle of I don't think the clouds look like this, but it's a bus where you just drive. It's kind of like desert bus, except you kind of just things happen around you. And for what we were trying to do, we were trying to get the 10,000, so we had to wait 3 days. One of the events that can happen is your bus will stop, and then there's just like water will appear and flood your bus. So we would all head to the top of the bus if you didn't want to be underwater. And I just really like that. I like that event a lot. Just sort of a nice positive experience about that's the positive vent part of the map, that I was like, this was a really nice thing I did with friends, and this particularly was a event that brought me joy to have everyone be like, oh, race to the top, it's flooding. Yeah. So I was unsure about the coloring at first because I know it was supposed to be upbeat, warm stuff. So I did that with some, I think originally it was gonna be blue, like blue sky, yeah, blue sky and everything. And I was like, oh wait, it's like warm and positive. And I probably could have kept it blue and whatever, but I was like, I'll do the other thing. I'll do the other thing. So I made it pink. I kept it a little blue because of the water, but I made it pink and have this really nice light, I don't really know, of pastel kind of look, but very close to white, but very pink and warm and sort of soft. So I ended up doing that, and I'm really happy with the clouds because they're nice and subtle. So that's what I did for the concept, for the coloring for the first one. For the second one, it is based on, I think this one takes a little bit longer not to explain, but so this is another event that could happen on the bus in VR chat, is that you'll just be chilling and then the cops are gonna show up in a helicopter and tell you to pull over. We actually tested this. If you just don't shoot down the cop helicopter, they'll just disappear. They'll shoot at you, but nothing will happen. I don't know if that changed since the Solstice update, but there is a weapon you have on the bus, or you get it somewhere, and it shoots like a firework thing, and if you shoot it at the cops, actually I think you shoot a gun, like a pistol that's on the bus, you can shoot that at the cops and it'll shoot down their helicopter, and that will end the event. And there's a clip somewhere of me, like, it's the thumbnail of my Reading Warrior Cats 1 through 7 chapter stream. It's like me reading Warrior Cats, and then the cops show up, and then so my friend Reich shows up with a pistol on the top and shoots down the cops, and I'm just like, whoa, look at that. It's just a funny shot to me. But yeah, and it kind of embodies just kind of the magnificence of an explosion, and because I really love fireworks, and I love when things go boom and ooh, pretty lights kind of thing. So that's why I did that. I wanted a lot of moving parts, and obviously if I animated it, I'd want to die, so I just drew it once on different layers and did it in live 2D. I wanted to make this scene a bit darker than the other one, only to contrast it with the explosion, who is super bright and glowy and whatever. So it goes like the first shot, which is pretty white, pretty pink and pastel warm, and then go to this darker warm where it's supposedly like the overexposure of the explosion is making everything darker to focus on the explosion and like the pretty lights and all that stuff. Oh, Jesus, I'm talking so fast. To the third shot, which is, it goes back to that brightness, but it's a solo shot with just a close-up of myself, and it kind of goes back to that white. It's like the brightest shot. Speaking of, the final shot, shot 3, is just me looking at it. I think the most important thing is the hair is moving, and the eyes have this explosion sort of look, admiring the fireworks of it. That's not based on a thing, I kind of just love fireworks and I wanted to show that. That's a thing that I love, is that I love fireworks and explosions, so I wanted to showcase that. Um, it's the only close up in the map part. I don't know. I'm really proud that I did two like far away shots. I didn't really know I had it in me. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. But so I did that all based on the Bus to Nowhere. We ended up getting the ending, and soon we're actually going to be going for the Solstice ending, which is, I think, like 10 days to do. But hey, if you have some free time, do the Bus to Nowhere map. It's just good. It's just good. And then, oh, I'm at the animation section. All right, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I explained all of my things during the thing, during just the concept colors. Now this is gonna take forever. Uh, yeah, I guess I'll kind of just let it play because, you know, it's animation. I think the only things that are important to know is that I think I did two keyframes. It's like doing general keyframes of what everyone will look like in their first shot, in their first frame or whatever, as like a character design. I did like the roughs, as like this is where people roughly are and what they're roughly gonna be doing. And then I did a secondary rough that was just like this is their more confirmed, or is like they're more solidified what they're gonna look like the style of the animation, and then I use that as a reference to go off of to actually animate it. Oh jeez, oh my god, I'm so out of breath. This entire video is just me being like, I think the most complicated one to do for coloring it was Sprite or Korvac, but for animating it was probably obviously Ryx, because Ryx does the most motion. I'm not like turning my head or anything in the shot. Ryx is fully turning around, and I kind of cheated because it's just one frame where Ryx is in the middle. I think it's fine though. I think the tails were probably my favorite. They're pretty low frame rate, but I think I did good with the motion of the tails. So I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, so I'll just kind of let this play. This is literally all of me working on all of the animation for shot one, which is the most complicated part. Yeah, I guess you can see me here. What I would do, yeah, I have like roughs and like where they're gonna be doing during the first shot and how they're gonna end at the last part, or at the end of the shot one, and then just making a bunch of little frames in between, and then just doing it, and then just doing it. Animation is just doing it, making a lot of in-betweens that are vague, and then using parts to kind of reference and then use as in-betweens and blah blah blah. Yeah. Animation, it's how you do it. It's how I do it, at least. um yeah, I guess that's it. If I like look forward in the thing here, it's like mostly just me doing all the frames. And then I start coloring, and I start coloring everyone with their, I think their original colors, their color block. So I can just, before I like know what colors I'm gonna use for them, I just do their actual colors, which is more saturated, just as a reference. And then I go and I adjust them all to be lighter and more pastel-y and etc. Like making Ryk's red more of a light pink or something. I mean, like a dark pink or whatever. Especially making Korvac a lot paler, because having it be like all pale pinks and then just jet black is a bit much. So I did that. And then it's me working on the I use the perspective to work on the final version of all of the what is it? The bus. Working on the bus. If this was accurate, the bus would be, I think, black. It's like originally the bus is black, but like that's gonna look crazy if the bus is black and everything is pastel. So I made it the white color. Yeah. We would make the bus, I think whenever we did Bus to Nowhere, we chose the artifact that made the bus dark so we could sleep in it easier. It's like there is one that makes it faster as well, but it makes the bus white, and we were like, don't make the bus white. It's gonna be so annoying and eye strainy. Which I think is really fun. Speaking of fun, I had a lot of fun animating the water, which I didn't remember. So I like did the sort of vague, oh god, I love the clouds too. But I had a joy. We were watching Falling Down, which is an insane movie. I recommend it. And I was animating this water, and I think before I was just gonna have like a little bit of the shine on the water, a little bit of the waves near the car, and I was like, oh wait, there's that thing, I don't know what it's called, the little cartoony sort of water ripple thing. I don't know what it is. It's like kind of looks soapy. I think I tried adding a fish and I was like, that's too much. That's too much even for me. So I added this like white kind of beach foam shimmer effect, and it made it look so much better and so much more detailed. Just enough subtle to be like, oh, this isn't some weird haze. It's water. It's water. And I was pretty happy with that. Gave it a little wave effect, didn't animate it. I was thinking of like, could I animate this? And I was like, I don't want to. Just put a wave effect on the water. So it's just 3 of the same image, but like slightly edited. And then I added shadows. I don't think I originally was going to do that, but it worked out. I added it and it worked out. I added shadows on everyone so it kind of blended in. Made everyone's lines, instead of black, I made them like a lighter red. Great decision. It really just kind of puts them in the scene. And yeah, so that was for shot 1. For shot 2, we have, oh, I forgot to zoom this in. Anyways, for shot 2, it's a lot of me just building like an actual time lapse of a drawing. It's mostly just a drawing, but you can see me building the parts so they can be used in live 2D, making sure the jacket is separated from the actual jacket, so it can like kind of flow like it's being pushed back by the explosion. Live 2D is intricate, I'll tell you, but it makes sense. You gotta kind of build that sort of stuff. I will say it was pretty, I think the least difficult part was the character part, because I've done plenty of that, as you can see from this and also from other people I've worked on. But the most complicated was the explosion, because that's more artistic. It's a bunch of dots that are flying around at different rates, a bunch of like glowing lights that have the glow dodge effect in Clip Studio but can only have the add effect in Live 2D. It's a lot of this and that and whatever. But I think I'm pretty proud of all the work I did. Thank you for watching. But I do have one more thing to do. As per my little thing, I want to say thank you to all of my coffee members that make this possible, that I'm able to like in the middle of my commission stuff, I'm able to go off and just do like this little animation thing. I love being able to do this for like my life. It's just fun. So I'd like to thank Waber. I'd like to thank Pride, Bluena, Red Fox, Blitz, Babson, Kyorik, Ryx, Zombino, Ironbolt, Kyo, Sherokin, Ignis, Wing, Gomi Bunny, Dump, aka Duck, Vizzy, Bread, and Nugget. Thank you all much. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you all much. Shit. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm gonna hopefully make more of this stuff in the future. I want to do more animations. I want to do more independent animations, but I'm just kind of working. But thank you so much, and I hope to do more. I hope to show more. And that's it. Have a good Pride Month. Yeah, it's almost June. Have a good Pride Month. All right.